How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about something a little different. I was digging through my box of comics and I stumbled across something kind of interesting, and that is the one-shot special, The Walking Dead: The Alien. This was for local comic book shop day back in November of 2019, and was at the time the first Walking Dead comic not written by Robert Kirkman. The Walking Dead comics, for a long time, there was no spin-offs or special editions or really anything. It was just the numbered series that was put out relatively consistently. Eventually, we would get the Rick Grimes 2000 miniseries, we would get the Here's Negan miniseries, and then later on we would get the Clementine young adult comics. But this was the first spin-off thing, and it's pretty interesting. Basically, this is written by Brian K. Vaughan, and I think the explanation for it was Image had decided to release some of his webcomics physically, and in order to celebrate this, they let him write a Walking Dead special. Now, the thing with the special is it's not a huge revelation or anything, you know? It is an interesting bit of trivia and touches on a character with a special connection to the rest of the stuff, even though he's not super important. So yeah, it's an interesting little bit of trivia, but it's not like the secret book that's going to tell you how The Walking Dead got started or anything. The alien in the title is not an outer space alien. It's this guy named Jeff from America who's currently in Spain. So he's an alien to Spain, you know? Not an outer space one. But he is stuck there wanting to get home to his family. It's only 2 weeks into the zombie apocalypse, but he can't get out of Spain. He meets a mysterious woman in a suit of armor who has a special plan to get out, but of course they have to make their way past the hordes of zombies. Overall, it's a fun little side story, but I can't really pretend like it's more than that. It's a setup that really could have gone to big extremes, but it just kind of, you know, it ends at one issue, and I'm like, we could have got 6 issues out of this, you know, it could have been more. So, a fun little side thing, nothing really more than that, but if you see it, go ahead and grab it up. I think it's pretty fun. And yeah, a bit of trivia, you know? Anyway, without further ado, if you guys want to see this a little closer, I'm going to go ahead and switch to the close-up camera, show you guys a little bit more of the story and a little bit more of the art. So without further ado, let's go and switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at The Walking Dead: The Alien. This is that later Walking Dead logo where they shove everything up in the top and it's not as big or cartoony. I like the old big cartoony one. But anyway, a pretty simple cover where a lone figure's walking down the street, the sky and the lighting on the road is all red. And it actually does wrap around to the back, although the back is just a little bit more red and then lost in shadows. Rated M for mature, local comic book shop day logo 00111. Flip it open to the inside, we can see a little more information. This was for local comic book shop day, November 2019, so it's a few years old by now. And then we can see up at the top, Brian K. Vaughan is the writer, not Robert Kirkman. Marcos Martin is the artist. And if we want to get to Robert Kirkman, we have to go all the way down, second to last credit, where he's listed as the creator. And yeah, he created the series, he should get some credit, right? Anyway, after that, we're going to take a little bit of a look at the story. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the comic's about. I'll be avoiding the end. I'll try not to go too far, but let's take a look at a little bit of it. Anyway, we open up a fun double-page splash with this guy. He's waking up to someone screaming, so a big ah across the top there, and we find that he's actually managed to score himself a pretty good space to sleep on some building rafters. Yeah, you're exposed to the elements, but zombies are not good climbers, so that is a cool place, and we get to see the smoke of the city there. That's pretty cool. But we find out who's screaming. It's this young boy, and no one's helping him as the zombies close in, and we note the language. This actually takes place in Spain. More on that in a minute. But he does climb down to try to save the kid, but he's only armed with a flashlight, so instead he kind of puts himself in danger and is unable to help the boy. Now, we get the clue that this takes place really early on into the apocalypse. I think it's only like 2 weeks in. He says, "I don't want to hurt you, you're just sick." Yeah, pretty quickly people would know these people are in fact dead, but yeah, early on you would think, oh, it's just a sick guy, I don't want to hurt him. He does whack him with his flashlight to keep him back, and that results in a good old eye pop out. Gotta love zombie gore. Now, he is saved by a strange figure, a woman in a suit of armor riding a moped, and she will wind up taking him away. Do you speak English? Yes, I do. You're an American, I can tell pretty easily. But who is she and what are her plans? Well, she takes him back to her place, and she explains that she works at a museum, hence being able to get the suit of armor, but she also knows a very wealthy patron that she's friends with, and if they can get to a boat, they can get to her island, and if they get to her island, she actually has a private plane, and they can go anywhere they want, which includes going back to America. But why does she want him? Well, it turns out she reaches around behind him to grab his flashlight. You see, the sewers are dark, you can't see if there's any dead down there, but it's also full of methane, so strike a match to light just an open flame, and the whole thing blows up. So, yeah, you definitely do have to be careful there, you know? And it's one of those things like, you know, pre-apocalypse days, anyone could just go to the store and buy something like that. But yeah, you know, you might find something as commonplace as a flashlight really, really valuable. But she is going to start to flirt with him a little bit, saying, "Hey, I know you're unsure about this mission, but why don't you sleep on it?" And we also get a clue to who this character is, Jeff. He's from America, he doesn't know what to do with his life, so he thought save up some money and travel, but he found out his older brother Richie is in the hospital and wants to go back to see him. Now, there's a few clues as to who exactly Richie is, but it doesn't explain till the end. I think it's a fun little surprise there, so I'll just leave it at that. And the point where I'm gonna cut off is it's the next day, and it's time for some zombie sewer adventures. So overall, a fun little story. I feel it does end a little bit too abruptly, and it is one of those things that I could see more issues with in getting to know these characters more if it was more than just a one-shot. Not the best thing ever, but again, a fun little experiment, something different, and like I said, Walking Dead didn't really do too many one-shots or spin-offs, especially this early on. Eventually we would get the Rick Grimes 2000 series, and Here's Negan, and then Clementine would get her comic, but this was like one of the first comic spin-offs, and I think that's pretty cool. So maybe more an interesting footnote than anything else, but I still think it's a fun little story. Anyway, definitely liked it. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Image Comics playlist. If you want to see me talk about a few other Image books, there is some pretty interesting stuff in there, like Gideon Falls. That was a cool one. I talked about a few volumes of that. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.